We are shifting massive timelines. There is a new heaven and a new earth descending. Their frequency is descending into this reality. Last night, I had a dream, and in my dream, I could see just different energies, especially financially, just shifting into new realities. There are new realities coming into this earth realm. And I want to welcome you today and invite you to focus on grounding yourself and connecting to joy and peace, because right now, that's our only anchor. Our only anchor is the peace and the joy we can find within ourselves. And it's going to help us shift to a higher, better timeline in the coming new earth. Hello, my name is Ruth, and I do private readings as well as these public YouTube and Rumble lives. And I do readings from a clairvoyant and a prophetic seeing perspective. Today, we're going to be looking at solar flashes, solar flares, and the Greek god, or what I call a cosmic being, Prometheus. Is Prometheus still real today? Is there still a being out there that controls the element of fire? And I'm going to be looking at the biblical interpretations of a great heat, prophesied, predicted, a great heat that melts the elements in the end times on earth. So we're going to take a look at that. Thank you for being here today. Good morning, Richard. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have a treat for us all. I have a video that I'm going to share about the the Titan god, Prometheus, and the history of fire, the legend of fire, the myth of fire on the earth. I also have a financial prediction live right after this. Feel free to join. On my membership, it is Violet Flame / Global Shift. It's in the description box and in the comments. We're going to be looking at gold, silver, and some crypto, but also a possible stock market crash, which, by the way, I'm not feeling, but I want to look into. The collapse of insider trading, and a recent change in the Federal Reserve that happened 2 nights ago. So I will be bringing that up on the private live at 12:15, or about an hour and a half from now. All right, now let's go ahead and say this prayer. Invite the light of Christ here. Give everyone a chance to come in. Let me get my sage. There we go. Thank you, Spirit. All beings, thought forms, entities, technologies, and artificial intelligences that do not have our highest good or the highest good of all life on earth, and that are not in service to the one true living God, the source of creation, the great I am, and the technologies they use, such as nanodust, smart dust, black goo, algorithms, implants, blockers, trackers, operating systems, and all else that are not for the highest good of humanity, I command all to leave this live stream, to leave this channel, to leave our minds, bodies, and energy fields once and for all, to leave our electronic devices, to go to the abyss and never torment again. Your contracts are nullified and void. And all empty spaces left by these dark forces, we now fill with the light of Christ, the light of the divine, Christ's energy, the power of Holy Spirit within us, divine love, and all that is holy and good. We invite truth and clarity into this space with healing and liberty for all. It is so, let it be. Okay, let's get started. Before I get into the biblical prophecy, I want to share a little bit about Prometheus. Here is actually a statue of Prometheus from in front of the Rockefeller Center, located in Manhattan, New York. This is a better look at it, and the inscription above this statue says, Prometheus, teacher in every art, brought the fire that hath proved to mortals a means that hath brought the fire that hath proved to mortals a means to mighty ends. So why is there this statue here in front of the Rockefeller Foundation if it's nothing but a myth? Why would they put this being, who is today possibly a cosmic intelligent being of light, that rules over some of the elements? Let's just find out. Okay, I have here a video that I want to share about Prometheus. And Prometheus, yeah, and text me if you can't hear it. Prometheus is a Titan god. Okay, can you see that? TED Ed. This is from TED Ed, lessons worth sharing. I love the little graphics. It's only like a few minutes long, but it gives us a history of the myth of Prometheus. So let's get started. And why is this Titan god, even though I don't like using the word God because I prefer to use it as a being because we don't worship any of them, okay? I want to clarify, I do not believe in worshiping any, cosmic being as a god or goddesses. It's just that term to represent that they have stronger power than we do. All right, let's get started.
Before the creation of humanity, the Greek gods won a great battle against a race of giants called the Titans. Most Titans were destroyed or driven to the eternal hell of Tartarus. But the Titan Prometheus, whose name means foresight, persuaded his brother Epimetheus to fight with him on the side of the gods. As thanks, Zeus entrusted the brothers with the task of creating all living things. Epimetheus was to distribute the gifts of the gods among the creatures. To some he gave flight, to others the ability to move through water or race through grass. He gave the beasts glittering scales, soft fur, and sharp claws. Meanwhile, Prometheus shaped the first humans out of mud. He formed them in the image of the gods, but Zeus decreed they were to remain mortal and worship the inhabitants of Mount Olympus from below. Zeus deemed humans subservient creatures, vulnerable to the elements and dependent on the gods for protection. However, Prometheus envisioned his crude creations with a greater purpose. So when Zeus asked him to decide how sacrifices would be made, the wily Prometheus planned a trick that would give humans some advantage. He killed a bull and divided it into 2 parts to present to Zeus. On one side, he concealed the succulent flesh and skin under the unappealing belly of the animal. On the other, he hid the bones under a thick layer of fat. When Zeus chose the seemingly best portion for himself, he was outraged at Prometheus's deception. Fuming, Zeus forbade the use of fire on Earth, whether to cook meat or for any other purpose. But Prometheus refused to see his creations denied this resource. And so he scaled Mount Olympus to steal fire from the workshop of Hephaestus and Athena. He hid the flames in a hollow fennel stalk and brought it safely down to the people. This gave them the power to harness nature for their own benefit and ultimately dominate the natural order. With fire, humans could care for themselves with food and warmth, but they could also forge weapons and wage war. Prometheus's flames acted as a catalyst for the rapid progression of civilization. When Zeus looked down at this scene, he realized what had happened. Prometheus had once again wounded his pride and subverted his authority. Furious, Zeus imposed a brutal punishment. Prometheus was to be chained to a cliff for eternity. Each day, he would be visited by a vulture who would tear out his liver, and each night his liver would grow back to be attacked again in the morning. Although Prometheus remained in perpetual agony, he never expressed regret at his act of rebellion. His resilience in the face of oppression made him a beloved figure in mythology. He was also celebrated for his mischievous and inquisitive spirit, and for the knowledge, progress, and power he brought to human hands. He's also a recurring figure in art and literature. In Percy Bysshe Shelley's lyrical drama Prometheus Unbound, the author imagines Prometheus as a romantic hero who escapes and continues to spread empathy and knowledge. Of his protagonist, Shelley wrote, "Prometheus is the type of the highest perfection of moral and intellectual nature. impelled by the purest and the truest motives to the best and noblest ends. His wife Mary envisaged Prometheus as a more cautionary figure and subtitled her novel Frankenstein, The Modern Prometheus. This suggests the damage of corrupting the natural order and remains relevant to the ethical questions surrounding science and technology today. As hero, rebel, or trickster, Prometheus remains a symbol of our capacity to capture the powers of nature. And ultimately, he reminds us of the potential of individual acts to ignite the world. TED-Ed is a nonprofit. If you value our work, please...
Okay, there was a lot there about Prometheus that I really enjoyed. Number one, he seems to be the forerunner of this concept of aliens or gods giving technology to humans and us not being aware of what we truly have with the ability to destroy ourselves. So I thought that was an interesting concept there. I also really liked how Prometheus saw creation as something not just to be controlled, but as something to develop a higher purpose, a higher power. This is giving me the vibes that Prometheus might have been a better cosmic being, and in the wars of heaven between Zeus or whatever god it was that wanted to control humanity, such as in the Garden of Eden or in the days after the Garden of Eden, that there were good beings out there trying to give humanity their sovereignty, trying to awaken their DNA, trying to give them the tools they need to ascend and develop on an intellectual scale. It's very interesting that Prometheus is known as the one who fashioned man. Now, in the Bible, and this is digressing a little bit, but in the Bible, it talks about the Elohim. Now, it's translated God, and God said, but that word goes all the way back in etymology to Elohim, which is a group of council of cosmic beings. So was there a division on how humanity was handled in the Garden of Eden? Was there a division? Is that why a serpent came to Eve and tried to ascend her in a different way? Is that why there was some disruption over sending out the humans versus keeping them in the garden? So I don't believe we should ever ignore any of our myths, our history, our texts, the ancient texts, because they hold keys to who we are on a human level. Fire or AI, could we destroy ourselves? Now let's go ahead and look here. I want to share a little bit about the elements in the prophecies that seem connected to fire, because I want to type or see if Prometheus is tied to the great solar flash or the new heaven and the new earth coming in. Is Prometheus a good being that's still assisting us? Now, I want to share with you, before we go into our list of tarot questions, I want to look at the prophecy where Prometheus might be connected to. In the book of the Bible of 1 Peter, chapter 3, it talks about the end times. Now, there is a prophecy in the Bible that says the world will never be destroyed with a flood again, but instead, in the end, it will be melted with a great fervent heat. So let me read this. Verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens will pass away with a great noise, and the elements will melt with fervent heat. Both the earth and the works that are therein will be burned up. Therefore, since all these things will be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness, looking for and hastening for the coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens will be dissolved, being on fire, and the elements will melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth in which righteousness dwells. Several things to notice here. It says that the elements will burn with a fervent heat, or will melt with a fervent heat. The elements are the building blocks of our current ecosystem. They're the fire, the metals. They even go so far as our carbon, our anything having to do with those table of elements, periodic table of elements. Then we also see here that the only thing that's going to save us is if we are of a high vibration. So what manner of persons ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness? Only those of a high vibration are going to withstand this intense, fiery frequency, can we say. And then we also have here, according to his promise, we look for new heavens and a new earth. So things are going to be dissolved in a heat, but they're going to be immediately replaced with a new heaven and a new earth. Now, many scholars in the Bible have never fully explained what does this mean when the old earth is going to be burned with fire. And this is because most of the time the Bible scholars view hell as a place of fire as well. So they think it's going to be a great judgment, brimstones falling out of out of the sky, and just the grass catching on fire and just fire scorching the landscape. But biblical text is often a metaphor. And especially when Peter, the Apostle Peter, is seeing a vision and he says there's a great fire and it's going to melt things and it's going to be replaced with a new heaven and new earth. That's a metaphor, because fire was the only thing back then in their consciousness that they didn't truly understand. And they didn't understand, or at least it's not in the Bible, that it's connected to cosmic beings and it can be a frequency from an actual cosmic being. So there's a whole mystery to this prophecy of what is this great fire. And then when we're getting 100 degrees across the world almost every summer now, it's making me think, are the elements of fire melting under this heat? Are there other elements of toxicity, parasites, toxins, chemicals, chemtrails, anything in our environment? Is it being melted with this heat? That's not good for us. Low frequencies, are they being dissolved away so that we can bring in the energy through our quote unquote good conduct and godliness, through our vibrational frequency of love, joy, and peace? Can we transition in the new earth? Something was very important about that scripture, verse 2, and it said this, and this is not on the sheet of paper, but it says it says that they will hasten the coming of the day of the Lord. Be diligent that you can hasten the coming of this day. That means to make it come quicker. So there's a verse in the Bible that talks about it coming quicker. And if we of a high vibration can stay anchored in our reality, it can bring this change even faster. So it was known as being a good thing. Why is the earth burning up being a good thing? So I have a list of several questions we're going to ask Spirit. Who was Prometheus? Is he a dark being or a being of light? Okay. Is he or others like him still controlling or holding the energy of the elementals today? Is this prophecy mentioned in the Bible currently happening with a great heat? Or if not, when will it occur? Will it be very far away? Is this great heat dissolving the old earth, bringing in the new earth? Is this happening now, or is it going to happen in the future? And then what is exactly the great solar flash, and when are we predicted to have it today? All right, so let's get started. Thank you for being here. Shauna, thank you. No worries. Richard, so was Prometheus a fallen angel? That is the first question we want to ask. Who was Prometheus, dark or light? And I'm feeling right now that he might have been like a fallen or a principality, someone over, or a power, or a throne or dominion. He was a little bit higher than the archangels. For him to be able to create like that, he probably wasn't part of the angels or archangels. He was a much powerful, the Bible calls it a thrones, dominions, and powers. So I believe he was a very powerful cosmic being that had the ability to create. Spirit, what can you tell us about Prometheus? What is his energy? especially in the days of when he created man. Okay, he's coming up as a king, and he's coming up as an independent, okay? He's coming up as a king. And it's interesting because this king has a lot of power and is known as the manipulator, or the one who can control energy. But it's interesting that it's coming up. We have here independent. So it was not part of the Earth reality. He was outside. He was bigger. He was in the solar system. He was not in Earth's creation. He could work with the elements. Look at this. Look how he's working with the pentacles, minerals, fire. He had a lot of control of the earth. He could make choices. Spirit, what do you want to tell us about Prometheus? He had been given a measure of authority over the earth realm. Okay, this was a cosmic god. He was benevolent, the healer card, the one who serves. The Knight of Cups here represent to me humanitarian aid, love for humanity, healing, and joy. All these cards are very positive. Prometheus was a benevolent, I want to call him a power or a principality, a being who lived in the solar system that was given authority over Mother Earth, with Mother Earth, to create, to build, and to work with the elements. I'm seeing DNA, and I'm also seeing fire. A benevolent being. Okay, Spirit. Is he still operating or harboring or working with elements today? Or has he, in the earth realm, or has he moved on to other places in our solar system or universes? 5 of Pentacles. 3 of Swords. Look at these cards. Not happy cards. Betrayal, lack. And then we have here, I heard the words replace. The Queen of Swords, something was cut out. A verbal contract was denied. A cutout, a verbal contract was denied. Spirit, can you give me a full message about Prometheus and his energy and connection to Earth today? I'm hearing the words an Elohim. Okay, we have balancing, but blocked. He really wants to help balance the earth, but he's blocked from our current reality and stress. We have 4 negative cards concerning him when we ask about his relation to earth today, but his intentions are very pure toward us and very, very benevolent. His energy is a very benevolent being. Okay, Spirit. So who is now in charge of the elementals today? And I'm feeling called to switch the decks here because we want to tap into a whole new energy. Who is dealing with the element of fire today? Let's just do fire and heat. We have a lot of volcanoes happening right now. We have a lot of floods happening. We have a lot of activity here on the earth plane. Let me switch decks. But I want to focus on the element of fire and heat. Spirit, who is controlling the element of fire and heat today for the earth plane? Ten of Pentacles, there's the earth realm. Queen of Pentacles, the Sun card. Okay, this is not a negative energy. The Sun card, the Queen of Pentacles, Mother Earth, and Father Sun. We have the Mother Earth card just flipped out. So I believe this is part of Earth's ascension. Prometheus gave fire to Earth, activated the elements. And then this is when Earth was just a baby. She has ascended and she's taken the responsibility for her elements. She's taken the responsibility. She's giving them to some of the people too. She's taken back the element of fire, and it's also in the under solar. Look at this, solar control, the sun, the cosmic. Some people call this the energy of the sun, the Christ consciousness, the energy of Christ that embodied within Jesus. Okay, so Earth is now helping to control the elementals deep within the earth, the DNA. How does Earth, I guess Earth is now like her own little energy source here. She's her own little intelligent being, protecting the elementals, protecting, I'm also seeing the fairies. I heard the word godmother, okay? Releasing the trapped parasites, releasing the trapped, or we shouldn't say releasing, ending the parasitic invasion on her elemental family. And there is the King of Swords, the weather as well. Yeah, Mother Earth is in charge of the elements of fire, water, minerals, earth. I think there's one, air. We have it all here. Water, fire, earth, air. She's in charge of it. Wow. Okay. So now let's go ahead and pull on. Let's continue. You have some. Is Prometheus an Arcturian? Before we go to the solar flash and the prediction in the Bible, let's continue with the questions on Prometheus. Was he an Arcturian? Tell us more about Prometheus. Okay, I'm getting him. He's coming in as justice and a soul family of justice. I'm getting he's related to Athena, Pallas Athena, that Greek god who fought with Poseidon. So I feel like Zeus and Poseidon are sort of like their own family, and Athena and Prometheus is sort of a soul family as well. So I'm not sure if it's Arcturian, definitely a different civilization, a portal, definitely a civilization outside Earth. We have King of Swords as well here. Definitely an Arcturian. The Arcturian. We're getting a warrior type spirit and then a yes card. So something very similar, if not an Arcturian, something very similar to the Arcturians. Definitely of another civilization living outside the Earth plane. Was he tricked by AI, embraced some wrong tech fire, or really set us back, but his intentions were pure? Spirit, what can you tell us about his activity with us? Were his intentions pure? Did he do something to truly hurt us? Was he involved in technology? The release of technology to us? King of Cups again. Different deck. Prometheus. Two of Pentacles again. A choice. He wanted to give humanity a choice. So the other deck, these were the exact two cards that came out first. King of Cups, Two of Pentacles. He really wanted humans to have free will and to choose and to ascend. Okay. Here's the Death card. So he was kicked out of of working with us as humans at some point. Regret, shame, and then another star system. I believe he gave humanity technology, and this can be advanced technology. He gave humanity technology because he wanted them to have free will and to ascend. But I don't think we as humans used it right. I'm hearing the words, the bomb, the atomic bomb. I think Prometheus has still been giving us throughout the ages technologies, ideas, and humans were not ready for it. And we actually used it for good. Weapons, I'm seeing weapons, the flintlock pistols. I think Arcturians are warriors too. They tend to be warriors. The Orion Wars are coming in. So Prometheus had access to a lot of technology that could be used for good or evil. And humanity was not ready to use it for good. Wow. Four of Wands. Some of the technology is being used in underground civilizations today. And I also saw some of the UFO technology here for some reason. The anti-gravity machines. Yes, Prometheus has the energy of like engines, like not just fire, but combustion. But he's coming up as the knight as the king of water, though, which is very interesting. The ability to create. Water represents creation. So some sort of combustion, creation, higher grade technology. A lot of it was hijacked by, I believe, some of the Atlanteans, whereby we possibly even destroyed the earth. So I believe some of the beings said, get out, Prometheus. Everything you give to the humans, they are destroying themselves with. It's not time. Okay, yes, he's definitely connected to combustion elements, gravity technology, bomb kind of fire, explosions, weapons, the early flintlock pistols. And Athena feels like she's coming in with the swords and the weapons of ancient Greece, but Prometheus wanted to explore even more and did more like those not the battering rams, but the catapults where they could catapult the stones. Some of those ideas, I think, anything that created huge effects, Prometheus, I believe, brought in. That's the energy I'm getting here right now. Wow. Okay. So let's go now to the prophecy about fire, combustion. And let me read that again for anyone that missed it. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens will pass away with a great noise, combustion, and the elements will melt with a fervent heat. Both the earth and the works that are therein will be burned up. Therefore, since all these things will be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens will be dissolved, being on fire, and the elements will melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth in which righteousness dwells. So I want to ask Spirit, is this prophecy occurring now, or will it occur in the future? Days, weeks, months, years, or millennia from now? Because there's a lot of interpretation to that prophecy. Spirit, what can you tell us about the earth dissolving, the heavens being dissolved, and the elements melting with a fervent heat, and a new heaven and a new earth coming in? So we have this card right here. Speak to us about, we have this card that flipped out here, the Queen of Cups. Speak to us about this prophecy in 1 Peter. Thank you. Okay, so this came as a vision. It was in a meditation that Apostle Peter received it. And it was about the resources of earth, something trying to be guarded or protected. The two cards that fell out was Queen of Cups, which is a very interesting energy here, and then the King of Cups. The King of Cups fell out first, and then the Queen of Cups. So this would be Prometheus, okay, coming back in, coming home. I hear the words coming home, but also with another being, invited in by a divine feminine energy. This could even be some of the seraphims and the dragons. The angelic seraphim are also called the dragons in the ancient world, the fire-breathing dragons. So this could be Sophia, Christ conscious, divine feminine, with the Christ masculine energy inviting in Prometheus. Let's get further clarity, though. It's definitely cosmic beings that are bringing in this elemental heat. That's what I'm getting here. There's definitely cosmic beings having an impact on the world, and it's not just our Mother Earth activating the elements. We have the Hermit card, ancient wisdom, prophecy, ancient traditions, the mystery schools coming in. It's definitely a real prophecy. Queen of Wands, another feminine energy, but she's filled with fire. Wands represent fire, intuition. So this is a feminine energy coming in, a cosmic divine feminine energy, and a King of Pentacles. Whoa, okay. I haven't seen so many kings and queens here in a while in one card spread, along with the Hermit, which represents our higher selves and for the good of humanity. So Spirit, I need clarity. Is this prophecy currently happening? Two King, Death card, transition, dying. The old earth is dying, confirmation. And we have the death angel and then the horse ready to transition you to the world of light. So this is the death and rebirth, the old cycle and the new cycle. Old earth, new earth. Confirmation. But it's slow. It's a slow process. It's been well thought out of. It's been planned and prepared. And it's going to interact with the resources of earth. We have 8 of Cups. It's happening now, but it's very slow. There's something in the distance where it's going to speed up. Something's being moved or dragged out in time. Something's being also prepared for in the future. So clarity on this 8 of Cups. What is this future energy coming in as well? It's like, yes, it's happening now, but it's slow. It's like the beginning planning stages. What is this future to this prophecy? Page of Cups. Okay, it's not too far away. High Priestess. This is the prophecy, the prediction. And the Devil card. That old illusion, the matrix, the darkness that was trapped in there. So Spirit is saying it feels like time slowed down for the solar flash, or this prophecy of great heat dissolving the earth. It's almost like it was stretched out into time because the darkness was so great. The prophecy needed to be stretched out over time, because otherwise it would have been I hear the word collapse, or what's that? A caving in, an implosion. The earth would have imploded if all this heat would have just come. And I'm also hearing the words, the new earth must be ready. So let's get a time frame for this dissolving. And then we're going to see if this is the same or if it's different from the Great Solar Flash. 5 of Pentacles. I heard the words 5 years, within 5 years. I also saw sickness on earth dissolving. Page of Swords, though, means today. It basically means it's happening in the next few days. Independence. 7 of Swords. Okay, swords represent fast energy. So I believe that there's an independent frequency coming and starting to merge with Earth. This is the new Earth coming in, and it's happening now in these days that surround us. But I'm also getting the transition might take over 3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 months. So I am getting a confirmation that the new Earth frequency is coming in so that it can immediately replace the things that are being dissolved. Yeah, 2 timelines running side by side, or two Earths side by side. And there's also a lot of grief and pain And here we go, timeline shift. So it's going slowly. The dissolution of the old world, the old frequencies, is going slowly to keep as much gentleness to the process and to our human DNA as possible. So is this prophecy the great solar flash? Or is the great solar flash something totally different? There is another prophecy that says, in the twinkling of an eye, you shall be changed. King of Cups again. I think Prometheus has a message. That's Prometheus. He's been in every card pull here. Spirit, I heard the word spirit of the waters, spirit of the air, spirit of the fire. We're still connected to you. Yeah, there's a lot of grief because the two frequencies are coming in and it's causing a lot of disharmony on the earth, a lot of trouble, a lot of shaking. Is this, though, this prophecy, the great solar flash prophesied by other mystics? Or are they separate? It's an earthly timeline shift. That's what the prophecy is. See, we have yes to a small degree. We have quickly. So the solar flash is a lot more quick than this prophecy. So I'm getting two things. The prophecy is a slower dissolution from one earth or one timeline to another, but the solar flash is quick. It's fast. It's sharp. So a yes to the question, but there's more details. Work. Okay. Within the dissolution of this prophecy, one earth coming in and the other earth dissolving, I believe there is a moment of time where either spikes of energy, flashes of fire, or solar flashes hit the earth quickly, and they help Mother Earth shift timelines. But this exact prophecy in the Bible is not exactly the solar flash prediction. It is that period of time as the new earth builds and the old earth dissolves and they all come together, which gives us the ability to better receive the solar flash. Does that make sense? So it's like I see the prophecy of the dissolution of the old and the incoming new like a timeline, and at some point I'm seeing like little flashes, but then there's a big flash here at the end of the timeline. And because we were being changed, it helps this solar flash to be received by the earth and our DNA. I hope that makes sense. But I am getting two different little prophecies there. Okay. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. We have about 15 minutes, and then we're going to get into our financial predictions, and that's a doozy, okay? We're going to be looking at insider trading, the Federal Reserve, and some of you have cryptos. We're definitely going to be looking at gold and silver. So if you dig that stuff, sign up to the website. My membership, $9 a month, and thank you to all of you for your support already. But first, let's get a little bit more into the change of heaven and earth. This gives me a really good vibe. So we're already going through a massive shift in the frequency of earth. The old is being dissolved, the new is coming in. But when Spirit, Prometheus, maybe Prometheus wants to speak. When, Holy Spirit, do you want to show us this great solar flash is coming? So we want to pull the energy of the solar flash. In the twinkling of an eye, we shall be changed. Three of Wands, coming from a distance. Five of Pentacles, this is our DNA, but it's not quite up to par yet. Ace of Swords, yes, action. This is the exact event. The Ace of Swords is the event. So I asked when. We have a 3, a 5, and an ace. Now, this Three of Wands is telling me it's coming from the sun, okay? But it's from off-world, off-planet, a distance. But I'm also really seeing 3 months. But I'm also hearing the message, our DNA is not quite ready. We have too many sick people on the earth that a solar flash would damage them. Okay, so here's the Ace of Swords. That's the ace. That's the event. That's the upgrades. We have strength and manipulation and conflict with this fire energy. So there's definitely an intention to bring smaller flashes to help us before the great solar flash. We're going to see a few more smaller solar flares. Spirit, can you give me a time frame though? From now, let's go from now till December 2025. Will we see the great solar flash? Humanity. Okay, humanity needs to be protected for the end of this year. Humanity is not quite ready. But we will receive many solar flares, just not the great solar flash. Spirit, what about 2026? Will we be able to receive a great solar flash then as a world? Six of Swords, Ace of Wands. There's a yes, but it's more. 10 of Wands. If we meet the qualifications in 2025 and get rid of some of the heavy energies in our earth realm, if we do that cleanse, six of Swords, if we move on from certain negative patterns, wars, rumors of wars, if we move on from our selfishness, if we move on and actually begin getting proper world leaders in office, if our people leave the division behind, the political firestorms, the riots, the protests, the anger, the frustration, if we can leave behind some of our crap, we're getting a yes. There is a possibility that humanity will be ready. But I have to be honest with you. The solar flash isn't going to come on a timeline. It's going to come when humanity's ready. And I'm getting that message from Spirit right now is, although a prediction would feel good, I heard the words, we're all going home. We're all going home. Meaning we're all going to transition to a new earth, as many of us as possible. And so Spirit is not time-oriented. They are event-oriented. Is humanity ready? And that's why the scripture verse says, so seeing this great, let me bring it up. It says, seeing all these things will be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of God. So our own personal vibration is going to be the anchor to bring it in faster, to help other people cleanse their trauma, heal their trauma, I should say, cleanse negative energy, release the past, heal themselves, and get ready. It's us just being focused on our peace, our joy, our stability, our connection to the divine that brings in closer the great solar flash. Shauna says, when will starseed DNA start to be massively activated? Will they receive this trigger before the general population receives upgrades? Good question. When will starseeds get their upgrade? Okay. So it's interesting here because I'm getting all of the population, okay? All of the population are getting upgrades in some sort. We have the upgrades, Ace of Swords, and the Five of Pentacles. So the upgrades are coming to our physical bodies and our DNA. I'm seeing the word chains, like chains being like a chain being turned and activated, like each link of the chain. So that would refer to DNA. Okay. And I see how the chain of the DNA is also like a chain because it's been lying dormant or it's been blocked. Will the star seeds receive it first, or will all of humanity go together? So we're seeing those who protect their energy will receive it first. So it doesn't matter on your quote unquote bloodline. It matters on how much you've done your personal work. You might be an incarnated archangel. You might be an incarnated Pleiadian. But that's in your soul DNA. It's not connected so much to our history. It's connected to, have we cleansed our energy field? Are we protecting ourselves? Are we taking care of our minds, our bodies, our hearts? Are we getting rid of our own crap? As we clear out any negative energy around us, it opens up our DNA to activate. And that is the key. Wow. So throughout the whole world, everyone is on an even plane, depending on how much they will focus. Do I feel starseeds have an advantage? Yes, because they have spirit guides. They oftentimes have pre-contracted themselves to awaken earlier, to go through things that trouble them, or to go through things that teach them lessons sooner. So the starseeds do have an advantage in that they came in aware of what they would need to do. What is upcoming this year, 2025, in terms of a culling the population in relation to a solar flash? And separate from that, assuming this will be beforehand. So I'm not familiar with the term culling or what that means. Getting technology coming in and upgrades. Upgrades and spiritual, and also not just technology, I'm getting starseed help. What is coming? What is upcoming this year in terms of a culling? I'm not asking when starseeds will be upgraded. I'm asking when their DNA will be activated, assuming that they will have better access to that. So okay, I have those cards. Okay, yes, that to me is an upgrade. So I apologize if I said it wrong. To me, an upgrade is DNA being activated. And they will have better access to what their DNA can do when they get rid of trauma in their energy fields, limiting beliefs. Their DNA gets activated based on them clearing their karma, purifying themselves, and actually getting them in a state where they can be activated. We can look at the activating. What is there as opposed to upgrading? What might not be already lying dormant? Got you. I see what you mean. Culling means eliminating some of the population. Thank you. Okay. So let me divide this into two questions. The deck is already on culling. So will there be any eliminating of the population, any culling, any people leaving early in the rest of 2025 as a preparation for what's coming or to escape what's coming? Spirit, what can you tell us about culling? You got a yes card immediately. A yes, and there's more. Okay, there will be an elimination of souls, of human bodies, of souls leaving the earth. Queen of Earth, Queen of Cups, King of Wands. Interesting here. I don't know why I'm seeing a lot of females might be leaving the earth. Males and females, but a lot of females. What is this? Spirit, what can you tell us about this elimination? Why am I getting soulmate connections, lovers, man and woman, masculine and feminine, division between them? Okay, this is it. This is the toxicity. The culling will be with a lot of people who are toxic in their relationships. The eliminating of the population. And I keep seeing this in every reading I do about Ascension. These solar flares are getting people ready. And one of the things that they're targeting, just because they're flashes of light, is that narcissistic, toxic soul ties. And I believe those soul ties are unraveling in our DNA and releasing people from soul contracts. That is going to allow some people to leave early so that they can get a jump ahead. The souls can get a jump ahead, get access to their Akashic records, get access to their soul contracts. They can be separated from earthly ties. I don't know if that's answering your question, but I'm getting a lot of male-female relationships, a lot of women being set free. This could even be related to the intense transferring of human beings, selling and buying, if you know what I'm saying, traffic. A lot of the children, a lot of the women who have been tied throughout, if we have had massive transportation of these people, if there are a lot of transportation, that means a lot of people's DNA are tied up in these horrible situations. And 2025 is going to be a time where the universe wants to unravel all these Stockholm syndromes, release the souls that have been in chains and poverty, if we can call it that, free the children. It seems like there is going to be a lot of releasing, and some of these souls might pass on. So I apologize that I'm not making a lot of sense here. I just see a lot of the narcissistic people and then a lot of people being freed. And that's what the universe is focusing on in 2025. Freeing people from toxic patterns and soul ties to each other, especially in the area of sexuality. Okay, now let's ask, and this will be the last question because we got to get ready for the financial live afterwards at 12:15. What's the difference between being upgraded and and human DNA being activated? And activating what is there as opposed to upgrading what might not already be there lying dormant. Got you. Okay, so upgrading is the things that are lying dormant, our telepathy, our ability to teleport, our transmuting through walls. Jesus Christ was upgraded when he rose from the dead, and he could teleport through walls, and he could rise up and disappear. That's the upgrade. So what Shauna's asking is activated. What can we get that's activated? And when will starseed DNA start to be massively activated? And I'm assuming by activation, we could include like the memories and some of our abilities to have intense intuition, intense guidance, where we can start connecting with our soul families on a etheric level. So we're activated. So when will starseeds be activated in their DNA? They're going to start fulfilling their life missions, start thinking and seeing things with clarity, downloads. Okay, we're definitely getting King of Swords and the Chariot card. So we're going through that timeline shift right now where we're actually being connected to some of these abilities. Yes, Shauna says, as I've read 1,000 times to remember who we are, the truth, the disclosure, the awakening. Yes, the awakening to who we are, the remembering of our past lives or a connection to other civilizations. And it's coming in right now. We're currently going through a timeline shift of many people are awakening. People are either being called to certain locations, to visit certain locations, and that activates their DNA. We're getting DNA here. We're getting downloads. a lot of downloads and information, memory, thoughts, confidence, ideas, blueprints, even your ability to create wealth can come to you as you're activated. You're like, oh, I should do this. Oh, I could do this. I could invest here. I could build this business. Those blueprints and ideas are being activated. But then we also have the memory and the clarity of thought being activated. Here for the future, we have the Empress card. And I believe for the rest of 2025, we're going to be activated in being our own boss, creating our reality, being the energy of divine masculine for ourselves and not needing the world to provide for us, not needing the boss or the employer or the corporation to tell us what to do. We're no longer part of the matrix, but we create, we build with the ideas we get from our activated memories and our activated ideas, blueprints. What a good concept. There are so many ways for each one of us to bring in our heart's desire. She sees so many different options. And I believe the activation in 2025 is going to come to help us get firm clarity, not just in who we are and what our purpose is, but also on how to fulfill that purpose. Wow. Okay. So I hope this helped you. I hope you enjoyed learning about Prometheus. I really liked his energy. It looks like we also have a prophecy happening right here. We're fulfilling prophecy as we're dissolving the old earth and bringing in the new. It seems like our DNA is being activated to remember and to consider new ways of bringing in the reality we desire. So I wish you all the best. If you wish, you can join me in about 15 minutes, or you can watch the replay by booking with me on my membership. But if not, trust that you received everything you need right now. Thank you for joining me. Please give me a thumbs up, a like, or a subscribe. Go ahead and feel free to book on my website or join up to my newsletter if you'd like to stay connected. Richard says, I'm awake, I'm aware, and I remember. Thanks, Ruth. Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, everyone, till next time, I will see you on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.